Hi everyone, welcome back to today's video. This video is for you if you want to have a strong social media presence, like from what your messaging is to how to plan out content, what content pillars are you going to use, and also ultimately making sure that the content that you put out there gets leads. So, but if you've been struggling and you're like, oh my goodness, I keep on using someone else's template and I'm not getting in results, I'm going to go through something that I'm working on. It's still also really private to me, but I'm going to share it with you guys because I think it's really something great. And I'm going to be testing it out as well, starting from Instagram. But I know it works. It has also just been thousands of hours that I've put into this research. So one thing that we know why content doesn't work is because messaging, right? Formats, and then from formats, also not doing enough research, right? So I know everyone says, oh, create relatable content, but at the end of the day, what is relatable content? So there's just so many unanswered questions. And you know that, you know what? I put out content, and most of the time, what we usually do is that you put out content as an expert. Like, let me educate, let me educate, let me educate. But we forget that social media is all about being social, right? So let me get into it. So my framework that I'm using right now is going to start with good messaging framework. I'm looking this side because I've not put everything together, but I'm just sharing what I've gotten so far that I'm also going to use and it's good already. So it's just only about testing and improving from that, right? So good messaging framework and what are the winning formats? That is pretty much what I'm going to be testing on social media, right? Mostly with Instagram because I've been really consistent here on YouTube. So I want to start with short form content as well so I can see how it's going to go. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have funds to run ads, the only thing you rely on is the organic marketing that you're doing, that it is capable of bringing as much traffic as possible, but not just any traffic. Here the whole point is not to create content to go viral, but the content we want it to be profitability, meaning that the traffic that is coming in, it's directly also linked to profitability, leads that are ready to buy. So again, we're going to start with good messaging framework. So what is messaging? I know so many people have their own different definitions of what messaging is, but for me, messaging is what are you saying and what value are you giving? That's messaging. And then plus format, which is how are you representing it? How are you representing or packaging your content? Is it through B-roll? Is it through talking heads? Is it through voiceover, right? And then the last one is, what is a hook? What is the hook? And also your story and also the visuals. So those four things I've just explained is equals to content that attracts the right audience. Okay. So now the next question is like, how do you build the right audience? Right? So stay with me because this is really going to get so good. Now it's about what to post, right? So now that we've known what messaging is, or like good messaging framework and what are the winning formats is equals to content that attracts the right audience. Now, what do you post? What do you actually post? So this is how now we define your messaging. Your messaging is your vision. Like, what is your vision? What do you want to put out there? So here, your vision is what, who, and then your uniqueness, right? So let's start with what. What is your vision? It's an ethos, but then you also have various content pillars that you will use to share this vision of yours, right? So again, it goes back to your message. So content pillar one, content ideas. Content pillar two, content ideas. Content pillar three, then content ideas. And I'm going to go a little bit depth so that it's understandable. So the next thing is that if you don't know what a formats are, and then this is how I'm introducing you to formats. So you study formats and not substance. So when you're doing research, this is where you go onto your Instagram or TikTok and basically go through, you can click either in your industry or in someone else's industry, it really doesn't matter, but you're looking for formats that are performing so well on the platform. And the whole point is not to copy the other person's way of what their messaging is and copy it step by step, but it's more of like getting the format. You study the formats. So again, the formats, we start with a hook. Hooks can be differentiated between two. That is the visual, the text, and the sound. Those are hooks, right? And then we have visuals and edit. So visuals and edit, again, you look at someone, how many scenes are within their short form content, the settings, the dynamics versus, stills, all those different things. And then the cadence is how quickly does it move as well. So if you look at a reel that is performing so well in this format, let's say it's a split screen format, then you look at how long is it. And after looking at, if it's let's say it's 45 seconds, then you go in, how is it moving? What is the pace, that cadence? So you look at the cadence and you really study that, because again, when you are creating your content, you've known what your vision is, you know what your messaging is, you know what to say, you know what the visuals are going to be. Now it's going to be, again, a continuation of that. And then we have audio, training audios. What training sounds are they using? Music or voiceover, right? So if you look at the B-roll, B-roll can have a training audio with text on, meaning that the cadence is applied in there, but also you can have a B-roll, but also with voiceover. That's already audio. So you want to see which ones are doing so great. In this case, again, testing. And then we have the story arc. So story arc is about how is your story building tension, curiosity, and also it invokes an emotion within someone watching your content. So it's just a combination of all that I've just mentioned above. And lastly, it's about also the CTA. You don't have to forget the CTA. It's how does it guide the views, right? Is it to comment something? Is it to follow? So you always have to have that call to action. It's super, super important. Okay. So, for example, silent film storytelling format. I'm just going to give one. So you get photos that invoke an emotion, sad or happy. It doesn't matter really. And then here could be the visual hook, could be highlighting an emotional pain or desire. And then text that is like detail where the pain is coming from. And then anchored in time, which is, stimulates the payoff. And then we have the text. Text is readable. So that's the cadence is light, but also not jarring. And then we have anticipation music, which signals the transformation as well. And then we're going to have the CTA, which encourages more followers. And then lastly is going to be the story arc the story arc, which is pain pursue success or result or transformation there. So I've given you quite a lot to use. So I just need you guys to use that and just see how you can take that through and also create something for yourself as well. Okay. So, but before I go, I also want to kind of like give you an example of mine that I've come up so far. So my vision is what? So what is the transformation that I'm working on? And then content is going to be around strategy, storytelling, frameworks, execution, making 5K consistently. And then monetization is going to be making 5K consistently selling and also the ecosystem of selling content and scaling as well. Yeah. If I've not mistaken that. Okay. So, and then we have who it's going to be the demographics, which countries. So it's going to be South Africa, and I'm still figuring out the other country, but those two. And age-wise is going to be from 22 to 35. It's going to be group coaching mixed with males and females. And then psychographics, those are going to be strategy, storytelling, and execution. And then uniqueness. Uniqueness is, again, my pain. What makes me unique, which is going to be starting from my pain, which is like I grew up poor with my twin sister after our mom died. We had nothing. We had to move from one home to another home to just make ends meet. our family really didn't do a great job, or they didn't really care for us, but in some way they did. But after that, I was given an opportunity to come to South Africa, put through university, graduated with a cum laude. And now I'm running my own business so that I can eventually get my twin sister out of Uganda so we can be able to stay in the same country, whatever she wants. And also being able to retire my dad because he has done so much for us. So that's my pain point, and that's going to be my story. That makes me different. So, we immigrants, and we kind of like telling our story from our point of view. And then experience is going to be my experience, which is my experience makes me unique, which I also want you to think about. So my experience is going to be about like, I want to make 10K in the next 65 days. And, I've been showcasing the process or posting on YouTube every single day for the past 35 days, showcasing my journey. And I want to get, and I'm doing that so that I can be able to, show another person who has been through where I am at. Like, there is still a way. You just need a plan. You just need a plan and a accountability group to get there. So those are the things. And then my skills is going to be brand strategy, business strategy. It's going to be also system thinking. So the whole point that I'm doing this, or the future where I'm going, is that I want to attract people who are already business owners, but they just want to focus on one offer. Then what we're going to do is that we're going to launch that offer. From that offer, as soon as we've seen what is working and what's not working, then we're going to scale from what works. And then after scaling, but the whole point in terms of how we're going to structure the businesses is that they want to sell their businesses in the next 5 to 6 years. So working with me, kind of like we want to make sure that we give you those, we put you kind of like, we systematically put you in a place or in a position that you're going to be building a business from here. By the time you get to sell, you are ready. Because there's a difference between businesses that are making great revenue and profitability. A healthy business isn't really healthy if you are making 20 million, but then your profitability is like 100K. But a great healthy business is if you are making 20 million and let's say your profitability is about 1 million or 1.5, that is a really healthy business. I want to help businesses structure themselves so that they can have healthy profitability businesses instead of businesses that are just making a lot of money, but with a lot of revenue. But when it comes to profitability, it's nothing. So once again, thank you so much for watching today, and I can't wait to see you in tomorrow's video. All right.